if you're a woman who eats in a calorie deficit right now, yet still you cannot lose weight, this video is for you. Now, why you should keep watching, I'm going to share some of my personal story, but also some insight that I have as a coach whose day job it is to help women lose weight, get leaner, whilst maintaining their muscle mass and getting stronger. And the biggest thing, and I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to relate to that, is I believe that I could boost my metabolism and that I would find like a silver bullet that would magically help me transform my body pretty much overnight. Of course, this is a wishful thinking, but this is something that I actually believed back in the days before I did my certification as a coach and I did not know better. And I remember to this day that there was one moment where I was reading about vitamin D because it was like the most important vitamin that was talked about so much. And vitamin D is a precursor of steroid hormones. And so I really thought that if I take vitamin D, it would almost act as steroids and it would be pretty much the same as taking performance enhancing drugs. And so I would do that. I would take the vitamin D and then believe that within a few weeks, my whole body would completely change, that I would see muscles popping, that I would be able to see my abs, that I would lean out super rapidly while still eating no matter what it was that I was eating. I was not even like truly focusing on the calorie deficit back then, but I was really believing that simply focusing on that one silver bullet would help me transform my whole body. But obviously there are no silver bullet. That's one of the main takeaway of this video, and I want to do a deep dive into that because you see this all the time, you know, on social media and emails that you might read from creator and coaches that you follow. It's like, oh, do this one thing and then it's going to change everything. If you do this, then it's going to unlock your metabolism and your body is going to be totally transformed. And the truth is, spoiler alert, it's not only one thing, but it's a combination of several things. And if you understand a bit better what your metabolism is and how it works, then you'll be able to focus on the right things and create a calorie deficit that is going to be supportive of your metabolism and will ultimately help you lean out. And so this is what we do with the women that we coach at Women's Strength Society. So you can see here, this is a difference of over 10 kilos, so that's 24 pounds of difference. Here it's 8 kilo, that's almost 20 pounds. Here it was 12 kilo, here it was 15 kilos. And for none of those ladies, the main focus was, for example, on vitamin D. For none of them, it was like, hey, we need to fix your magnesium or use this training method and then it's going to completely change. It was, again, like a combination of different things that really help them over time transform their bodies. And you already know this, but I feel like I need to repeat that because it's important. Those kind of transformation don't happen over time. So this took 6 months. This was 5 months. This was a bit quicker. It was 4 months, and this was 8 months of really like focused work. So this is not something that happens over time, but when you put things together in the right way, then this is what is possible. Now, I want to help you understand what your metabolism is and how to go beyond the simple calories in and calories out equation, because you'll hear that pretty often. The only thing you need to lose body fat is to be in a calorie deficit. Then obviously you also have the other camp that's saying like, hey, calories don't matter. You have to focus on your hormones, on vitamin D, on magnesium, on decreasing inflammation, on keeping blood sugar balanced, on lowering cortisol and that kind of things. But the truth is, it's not either or. It's they work together. It's like the same side of the no, it's two sides of the same coins, and we want to go beyond the simplistic oversimplification. So in that case, I wrote down like calories in, calories out, but very often we have just like one oversimplification in mind of what's going to help us make progress and reach that next level. But it's never only one thing, so I really want to stress that. And then hopefully, if you understand that better, then you are going to understand better what to focus on moving forward. And so most of the time, we think about metabolism, and this certainly was true for me. The only thing I had in mind about metabolism was just like how easy it is for me to lose weight. How much can I eat without gaining weight? I was hoping that I could just eat ice cream and pizza, and that I would still be able to lose weight if I could find a way to boost my metabolism and improve my metabolic rate. It's also believing that, or thinking like, how lean can I look with the least amount of effort, because it felt like there are some people around me who just do like a few workouts and then they were leaning out, or they would just like skip a few foods or a few meals, and then they would like almost instantly lean out. And I'm sure that this is something that you've thought, because those are the things that I hear constantly with the people that want to work with us, but also with our coachee, with the women that we coach. We constantly have to talk about that and reframe and repeat that, because it seems to be so deeply ingrained in the collective subconsciousness of what it is that your metabolism do. So that's what we have in mind. It's really like how easy it is for me to lose weight. If I have a fast metabolism, then it's going to be very easy. If I have a slow metabolism, then I'm going to have to work very hard to lose the weight, and it's going to be very difficult for me to do that. But instead, what your metabolism is simply all the biochemical processes that occur within a living cell or organism that are necessary for the maintenance of life. So it's a bit of a fancy definition, but basically it's everything that happens inside your body, inside the cells of your body, that help you stay alive. A lot of that boils down to how the calories are going to be used to produce energy, because when your cells produce energy, they are able to maintain their physical integrity, which is a fancy way of saying that your cells are going to be able to remain cells and keep their structure if they are able to produce energy. And so your metabolism consists of all the processes that happen inside your body that transform what you eat, what you drink, all the nutrients that you get in to maintain that physical integrity, your physical shape, and also help transform the stuff that's already in you and take care of it. So it might be rebuilding things, it might be breaking down things when they are broken and they need some repair. And obviously the whole repair thing is also very important. This is for example what happens when you do some intense strength training. Then after that the body needs to repair itself so that you can grow muscles, and this is part of what your metabolism do. So as you can see, it's not only about how much ice cream can you eat and still try to lose weight, or how fast and how quickly are you going to lean out if you do decide to try and lean out. And the reason why it matters is that if you understand what your metabolism is, then it's going to be much easier to make changes that will lead to leaning out and to increase muscle mass, increase strength, and increase longevity, right? Because none of the women that we work with are interested in simply leaning out and then forget about it. They are all interested in leaning out, but then also maintaining those results and getting stronger, building some muscles so that they can age gracefully. And so if you understand what your metabolism is, then it's going to be much easier to focus on doing the right things that are going to support the leaning out, the muscle growth, and the longevity part. Whereas if you don't understand what it is, then it's going to be first much more difficult to focus on the right thing, but also you are going to be open to doing things that are going to be distraction at best, but can also be counterproductive or even damaging long term. So we want to avoid that. And so it will also help you understand that calories in, calories out. It is a very simplified view of how to achieve the above. And you know, a lot of people that just talk about calories in, calories out, I guess part of it is trying to lower the barrier of entry to really encourage people to take action, which I respect and totally understand. But also part of that advice is simply about moving more and eating less, and this is something that can definitely backfire, as we are going to see. So this is the equation, like, in a sense. This is the oversimplification, and you know, it says that if you are eating less than what you are burning, then you are going to lose weight. And on the flip side, if you are eating more than what you are eating, then you are going to gain weight, and ideally you are going to increase muscle mass. The calories in part is pretty straightforward and easy. So it's everything that you are eating and that you drink that contains calories, and to a lesser extent that impacts your hydration status. On the flip side, your calories out has 4 parts, and this is something that's not really talked about quite a lot or very often. And the biggest part is your resting metabolic rate. We are going to look at it. It's almost 60% of all the calories that you are burning in the day. The next part we have is the thermic effect of foods. So essentially it's the heat that you are producing whilst you are digesting the food that you eat. Then we have the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is a fancy term of saying like it's the heat that you produce when you are moving but you are not exercising. And then the last part of it is the exercise activity thermogenesis. So it's the heat that you produce when you are working out, when you are exercising. And this, like all of those parts, builds the calories outside of the equation. And essentially, if you understand that, what they are, and the specific kind of constraint or characteristic of each part, then you are going to be able to make adjustments to what you're doing, and it's going to be easier to create a calorie deficit that's going to be effective, sustainable, that's going to help you not burn out, and long term it's going to help you make the right decisions so that you can maintain those results, right? Because we do want to maintain the results after you've done a fat loss phase where you successfully stuck to a calorie deficit for a long time that helped you lose weight. After that, we still want to have habits that are going to help you maintain the results that you have. Understanding those parts is going to help you do that. And so the first thing you have to have in mind is your resting metabolic rate is not something that's like fixed and one number, it never changes. Instead, and I'm sure you've heard like that your brain accounts for about 20% of your energy expenditure in a day. And so what you want to understand about your resting metabolic rate is that each organ has its own kind of metabolism, and that your resting metabolic rate is the metabolism of every organs in your body if you were to do nothing during the day but to just like sit down or rest in your bed. And so you have your brain, you have your liver, you have your gut. Your gut has a lot of muscle around it. If you look at the total surface and volume of the muscles around the gut that help your digestion, they are literally like pumping your gut, the tube in your stomach, to help masticate the food that you eat. it's almost as big as your quads. So it's a lot of muscles that you have actually inside your gut, and they need energy, right? Those muscles need to have some form of energy. They have their own metabolism. They work in a specific way. Same thing with the kidneys, the lungs, your muscles. Obviously, your body fat is also an active organ. Your skin is the biggest in terms of surface. It's the biggest organ in your whole body. It's definitely active. Your bones, even your bones, are active metabolically, and so all those organs build up your metabolic rate. And if you do nothing during the day, then it builds up your resting metabolic rate. Then, on top of that, it's a percentage. It comes the thermic effect of food. So if you eat more food, then you are going to have a higher thermic effect of it. If you eat less food, then the thermic effect is going to be lower, but it's not only about the quantity, it's also about the type of food that you're eating. And for example, this is one of the reasons why protein is so popular right now when it comes to fat loss, is because it costs a bit more energy for your body to digest protein. It's going to produce a bit more heat digesting protein than other food. And on the flip side, the ultra processed food that is very high in fat and carbohydrate and salt, so things like chips, things like chocolate and that sort of things, usually they have a lower thermic effect when you are digesting them. So eating mostly unprocessed food here is going to be very helpful, so that you can balance out the calories with the thermic effect of food, and the cost of the digestion is going to increase. So that's going to have an impact. It's like small impact, but it is going to have an impact on how many calories you are burning at the end of the day. The next one, and this one is pretty important, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis. You can see here it's a big X. It's actually a multiplication sign. And the reason for that is because the different type of movement that you do throughout the day are going to have a different impact on your resting metabolic rate, and more so on how the calories that you burn during that time are going to be counted towards the total energy expenditure that you have during the day. And so the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, the heat that you produce when you are not exercising but you are moving, correlates very strongly with the amount of steps that you are doing with walking. And this is a multiplication of your resting metabolic rate. And this is very interesting because it means that this is already the biggest part of the amount of calories that you are burning. But then with the walking, you can actually multiply that. This is going to have a huge impact on how many calories you are burning. So as an example, let's say that you are burning at rest 2,000 calories. It's a bit more than what most women burn, but it's easier to do the math with that. So let's say it's 2,000. If you walk 10,000 steps per day, then you are going to add roughly 30%. If you walk 15,000 steps per day, you are going to add roughly 50% to that. So you go from burning 2,000 calories when you do nothing to 30% more. So it's going to be 2,600 calories. That's a full meal. That's a pretty big full meal. Or if you really go the extra mile, literally, and you go beyond like 15,000 steps per day, and you increase your calorie expenditure by roughly 50% or even more than that, then you go from 2,000 calories to 3,000 calories. It's 1,000 calories more that you burn during the day. This is a whole pizza that you could eat. So it's literally one way to boost your metabolism. Yes, it means that you need to be more active, and yes, walking does need some time to do. You can use some hack, like a walking pad. This is great to do that, to increase the number of steps that you are doing. But as you can see, it makes a huge difference if you can get those steps in, because on the flip side, the exercise activity thermogenesis, you can see here, it's only a plus. And during a workout, let's say a 1 hour workout, where you are lifting weight, you are going to burn like 300 to maybe 500 calories as a woman, roughly speaking. It might be a bit less, it might be a bit more, but that's going to be the ballpark. The thing though is this: when you are working out, you are increasing the stress level. And when you are walking, this is actually an activity that's going to decrease the stress response. It's also going to decrease inflammation, whereas the exercise is going to increase it, and then it's going to increase the demand that you have for recovery. And the reason I mention this is because a lot of women especially try to burn more calories by exercising more, but because of the impact of exercise on your body, on your resting metabolic rate, then this is something that tends to backfire. Whereas walking is something that you can increase quite a lot, and it's not going to have a big cost on the recovery capacity. It's going to be very little, and in fact, a lot of the time it's going to actually help improve your recovery status. So this is a huge lever that you can pull to increase your calorie expenditure and literally boost your metabolism. So the take-home message here is, you want to standardize your calories in and food intake. This is going to be your best bet when it comes to managing your weight, because this way you are going to be able to really understand how your body responds to what you are doing, be it the changes in calories and food intake, but also the changes that you make in terms of exercising, of walking, of sleeping, of stress management, that sort of things. Calories out is dynamic. Not calories deficit are created equal. If you try to simply burn as many calories as you can with a workout, then you are going to stress your body. It's going to have an impact on the organs. I'm just going to show you that one more time. It's really going to have an impact on all of those organs. The muscles obviously are going to quote unquote suffer a bit more, but it's also going to have an impact on your gut, on your lungs. For example, if you do a lot of high intensity interval training and cardio, then your lungs need to recover from that, and this is going to be quite costly, and it's going to really impact your recovery ability, and this in turn is going to change how your metabolism is working, like your resting metabolic rate is going to change based on that. And so one very safe bet that you have is actually walking more. This is going to be like the biggest metabolic booster. And so if your food intake is standardized and you increase the walking that you do, the amount of walking that you do within one day, you will be able to see pretty quickly that you are indeed boosting your metabolism by doing this. We see the sweet spot being around 12,000 to 15,000 steps per day with the women that we work with. So I highly encourage you to work toward that range. In terms of food intake, nutrient-dense food is going to impact how your body processes the calories and macros. So I very briefly talked about protein, like the macronutrient impacting how much energy the digestion is going to cost, but also the micronutrients, the minerals and vitamins are going to impact how well your body can extract the calories from the food. And this is also going to change the equation of calories in, calories out. So focusing on very nutrient-dense food is going to have an impact for this equation. And then lastly, working out is not there to burn more calories. That is so important. I need to stress that like very, very strongly. It's really there to improve how your body uses the calories at rest. And overall, if you eat in a way that's going to support your performance during the workout and that supports your recovery outside of the workouts, and you increase walking to boost your metabolism, and you really gravitate towards more nutrient-dense food, then this is going to have a massive impact on the effectiveness of your calorie deficit. So I hope that watching this here is making some light bulb go on in your mind. If you found this video helpful, then please leave a thumbs up. If you have any questions about that, then write them in the comments below and share this video with someone who might benefit from it.